it's Bella Networking Guru. It's 12:15, which means it's time for the Bella Networking Facebook Live show. Thank you for your watching. I would love to know, where are you watching from? Are you my New York viewers, English viewers, or anywhere around the world? Let me know. Hit the comments box. If you are watching, also please do hit the blue likes, because it's great. We see the lights horizontally. I've got a PR mogul with me today. Thanks, Steve, for tuning in and hitting the blue lights. Appreciate it. And guys, I have an invitation for you. I celebrate 10 years in business as a networking guru, and I invite you to my celebration on the 14th of March. So please do use the link below and register to attend. Brilliant. So thank you for watching. So without further ado, Brenda, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, thank you, Bella. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Brenda Gabriel, and my business is Brenda Gabriel PR, also known as the Publicity Concierge.
Lovely. Ooh, the Publicity Concierge. I do like that. Lovely. So, when did you start your business?
Well, officially with regards to the PR, it's been going now for a couple of years, I would say. Prior to that, 5 years ago, my first gig was with another top London agency, and I did some marketing for them. But while I was doing that, I also learned a lot about PR, actually did some national coverage and releases, and really found it was something that I really enjoyed. After leaving the company, after the project had ended, I then moved on to do my own thing. I continued with the marketing, but it was only after working with a coach a couple of years later, she sort of said, why are you not focusing on publicity? Because that seems to be something that you're quite passionate about. And at the time, I kind of thought it was the wrong thing to do, because if you, as you will know, being quite well versed around PR, it can be a bit dangerous to leave an agency and then move into do your own thing because of contacts and everything. And
it's all about the list.
Yes, all about the list.
It's all about who you know in PR, or how many journalists you're cushy with.
Most definitely, and so that's why I was a bit wary about going straight into that.
Definitely. So what's the full title of your business?
Just Brenda Gabriel PR.
Fantastic. And do you have a niche? Who's your target audience?
My target audience are...
No, it's fine. The lighting's much better.
Yeah. So my target audience primarily is women, although I'm not sexist at all. It just tends to be what I attract. So women in business, they tend to be quite successful already, 6 or 7 figure entrepreneurs who already have a degree of success, but at this stage now they really want to, well, they've already scaled up, but they want to scale up even more and primarily go global. That's what they're looking for.
Go global.
Yes.
So when you mentioned that scalability, you're very correct then. They already have peaked that entrepreneurship. Their business is going well, but they need that added bonus to really get more awareness or brand awareness, like using PR. Now, I need to ask a question about PR to help the viewers, because there's so many dimensions and myths about PR. Can you confirm what is PR for our viewers to understand?
Well, personally, Bella, I think what PR is actually in the title itself. Public relations. It's about relating to your public. That is the most important part of public relations. And as years have passed, as you said, there have been lots of myths and misconceptions around it. Primarily, I think, because of some of the people who've done good PR, including, we mentioned Max Clifford earlier, because of Max and various other PRs, our understanding or general understanding of PR is media relations, but that is only one small part under the massive umbrella of PR. PR is everything that you do. It's the way you interact with people. It's I think the expression someone used once was, it's what people say about you when you've left the room.
That's a tweetable. Let's repeat that. PR is what people say when you've left the room. Is that right?
Very true.
And also, like our headline for today, PR is also PR with the building blocks. You cannot just do PR on its own.
Totally.
So that brings me to your niche and style of PR. When you are presented with a new client, and you have your first consultancy. Talk me through what are some of the first important questions that you need to really understand about your client before you can create any kind of PR strategy. What's very important to know?
Okay, for me, it's most important to know what their passion is behind their business. And I know a lot of people would say, well, surely it's about strategy and it's, you know, all this. But no, to me, it's most important. Why is somebody doing exactly what it is that they're doing? Why are they so passionate about what it is that they want to put out into the world? Because I mean, if you're going global with your mission and with your vision, it means that it's something that's burning deep inside. It's not going to be. So I'm not going to work with somebody who wants to PR, you know, a basic company just because they want to get brand recognition. I want somebody who's actually on a mission to change the world in some way with their work. And I know you understand that, because that's exactly what you do with the networking. You're teaching everybody the power of networking, and that's the way that I work with my clients. It's like, what are you passionate about? Why is it that you think everybody needs to know about what it is that you're sharing? And, you know, how is it going to change the world for people that
Absolutely.
You know, that
I'm in total agreement with you, and I think no matter what your business industry is, if you don't have the passion behind it, that's also your selling tool. Because if you don't believe in it first, how do you expect to sell? How do you expect to get clients? You need to be able to allow your target market to resonate with you. And I must say, like, that is also another reasons why that ratio where a lot of businesses fail, because they haven't got that passion or they're not showing their passion.
Yes.
So that's really important. Now, I know you've recently started your business, obviously a few years, and I know it's tough in the beginning. What marketing has worked for you to attract clients? What's worked for you?
I have to say, probably the best bit of advice I would give to anyone starting out is, don't think you have to do certain things that everyone tells you have to do.
Absolutely.
And I think for the first year or two of doing, honestly, it was you have to do this, you have to do lead magnets, you have to have a freebie, and all
SEO, Google AdWords, the list goes on
and on and on. And actually, the first time that I actually realised that the best way to do things is to look at your strengths was when with my first coach, we were at a mastermind meeting and we were talking about my website, and I was frustrated because I couldn't do the copy for my website, and it was like 2,000 words, and I'm like, I don't know what to write, and this website I'm still waiting. And then my coach actually said to me, she said, but where do you get your clients from? And I was like, she said, do you imagine they're all going to be coming through your website? And I was like, no, I
they
get
come from different sources. Yes.
Well, generally face to face. And she said, well, then you need to be putting more effort into your face to face than you do in your website. And then I was like, I didn't care. I just was like, right, you can have whatever it is. The website has been up, and I pretty much haven't touched it for the past couple of years.
Yeah. It's all about that 80 to 20% rule, where, you know, it's all about, you know, 80% of my revenue is coming from marketing, but what is that 80%?
Yes.
So in terms of marketing, you've got that down. What social media do you love that works for you?
Oh, I am in love with Facebook.
Wow.
Yes, I love Facebook. I am told that LinkedIn, and you've told me as well, that LinkedIn is a brilliant way, and that's how we connected actually, by LinkedIn.
Yeah,
so
fantastic.
I know it works, definitely, because we're here. But for me, Facebook has given me life. And I think the reason Facebook works for me, it's not for the reason that other people may think they need to be on Facebook, which is, you know, you've got a massive audience, you've got, 1 billion people now who are seeing whatever it is, so you just market and sales posts and all of that. No, all of that stuff works to a degree, but the best thing that I've done is actually just be me on social media. That has been the most powerful thing for me in growing my business, going on and talking about my life, talking about my day-to-day, talking about my challenges, my trials and tribulations, also celebrating my wins live, so that's why people feel like they can connect with me. And I think that has been the most powerful thing. And as a result of that, I get recommendations almost like easily on a weekly basis, even without posting.
I can see where Facebook would be your number one tool in social media, because your audience and potential clients, they want to feel you, they want to get a connection. Because one misconception about PR is, if you have a PR agent, don't expect that everything's going to happen the next day and that week. You have to invest weeks, months together. So you have to build a good relationship with your audience. So I can see where Facebook would work. Guys, if you're tuning in, you are watching the Bella Networking Facebook show, and we have a PR mogul with us today. And if you have any questions with regards to PR, please do. Sorry, I'm just doing this as I'm speaking to you. Please do send in your questions via the comments, and your questions will be answered. If you are watching as well, please do hit the blue links. Please do hit the blue lights, because they do go across the page, and all questions will be answered after the show. For some reason it's got a little bit dark, just bear with me please. So running your own business, you know, we have our strengths and weaknesses. What would you say is your number one biggest business strength?
I have to say, for me personally, I would love to say it was something like my financial prowess or, you know, my strategy. But to be honest with you, I think it's my resilience. And I think that which I think partially comes from being a parent, but resilience is like the biggest thing, because, you know, although now I'm at a place where I'm comfortable and I'm really happy in my business, and you know, people see the glamorous side of things, you know, that's not to say I haven't been tearing my hair out and crying and tears and all of that kind of stuff that you go through in building a business, because it is hard to start off with while you work out, you know, where everything goes and where you fit and everything.
Definitely. And since your journey, have you applied or won any awards since your journey?
Well, I didn't apply for an award, but apparently I was nominated for an award it was last year, but it was 2018, a Livewire Corporate Award, which I think was, you have to forgive me now because I haven't even uploaded it onto my website, but it was the, what was it, Innovation and Excellence or something? Award, which I was really chuffed about, because they said someone had nominated me. I never found out who it was, so that was great.
Oh, fantastic. And now we have approached March. Now that we have approached March of 2018, do you have any plans? What are your future plans for this year?
Future plans are just to expand. I was quite happy to just do PR on my own, but I would like, as I said to you earlier, I'd really love to expand into an agency. I do believe there is a market for the type of PR that I do, and I think what makes me special, I know all agencies, you know, will tailor PR to their clients, but what I like to do, I take a very holistic approach. I always have done, which is why when I was doing marketing, I was still helping clients with PR. So where I am now, I will help with marketing, I will help with branding, I will help with even mindset, which is one of the biggest barriers to successful PR, I find, and it's about getting out of your own way. So you doing networking is a huge part of PR, and people don't actually realise that it is an awful lot about who you know, and it's being connected with the right people. And as I was explaining to one of my clients quite recently, I said, you can do all the funnels in the world, you know, to try and get people into your funnel, but if you're trying to end up on Oprah's couch on Super Soul Sunday, that's not going to happen via your funnels. That's going to happen because somebody who's used your product or knows of you, and you've had that connection with them, and that's why networking, and networking up in particular, is so important.
Speaking about networking and being in the right channels, I know one of the challenges being a PR agent is you have to keep up the relationships with journalists and media and maybe industry specific areas as well. How do you go about that, and like your CPD, to make sure that you're always on top of your industry?
Right, well, with regards to that, I think there are tools that many PRs will have, especially top agencies, and that was one of the reasons that I wanted to expand my offering, so that to me the tools are very important, where you have access to lists of databases, especially important now with GDPR coming up, because you can't just send emails to any and anybody pitching them anymore.
Okay, so that's going to affect your industry as well.
It will affect the industry, but it will be okay, because if you're already signed up with databases and various things, they've already got the okay
Yeah,
to
they've
have
got their
access to
privacy.
Yeah, so they've got
Yeah.
their privacy. But then that still means that any information that I have for my clients, I need to make sure that that's protected. But with regards to that, yeah, it is building relationships. It's going out. I've met up for journalists with lunch. I know I'm not one of those like ladies who lunch types, but it does help to meet with people in person so that they can get a feel for you. They'll also remember you when it comes to going forward. With regards to industry stuff, you know, I am reading an awful lot. I watch the news an awful lot. I'm reading an awful lot. Connecting on a daily basis with people via Facebook or via LinkedIn, and having conversations. Conversations are so
they can
important.
lead to so many different opportunities. So the PR and marketing world is highly competitive. There's so many PR agents out there. How do you feel being in such a high competitive market?
I would say when I started out, I was a bit like, who's going to pay me to do this when there are so many other amazing people? But the truth is, I am me and there is no other me, so therefore I don't actually feel like I'm competing with anybody in the industry.
Compete with yourself.
I am competing with myself.
Definitely.
I'm always trying to be the best version of myself, so I'm not competing. Either people vibe with me or they don't. I am only interested in working with what I call soul clients anyway, so those are people who are attracted to me and I'm attracted to them. It's a bit like relationships. You don't want, getting married is a highly competitive sport, isn't it? Trying to find a partner because there are hundreds of people out there and people who would want your partner. But at the end of the day, it's about that connection you have with somebody, and it's the same thing with PR. And I find that clients will connect with me. In fact, I've had clients connect with me and resonate because of a live that I've done where I've been talking about nothing to do with work whatsoever. I'll be talking about something personal that's happened in my life, and they'll reach out and think, I like you and I like what you're about.
They can resonate with you, definitely.
And then they'll make contact, and then we'll go from there.
That's beautiful. So guys, if you're tuning in, you're watching the Bella Networking Facebook live show. I do apologise for some reason. It's very dark today, I think because of the snow we encountered in London. If you are watching, please hit the blue likes, and if you have a question for our PR mogul Brenda, then do drop a question below and all your questions will be answered. So Brenda, I'd love to know, do you have a great case study or a client that you're really proud of that you'd like to share the work you've done for that client?
Oh wow, well I think one of the most recent examples I have, well there are a couple actually, but one of the most recent ones, which was one of my first pieces that had actually gone viral, was actually jumping on the opportunity to give a comment on I always forget, the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge's their parenting styles.
Really?
Yes. And what I actually did on Facebook again is I put out a post saying, because I had one of my contacts and they were like, do you know anyone? And so I put out a post saying, if you had a good publicist, you could now be commenting on the Duke and Duchess and their parenting styles. And then I had somebody reach out to me and say, I need to know more about this. And so then we spoke, and then they, became my client for that. For that, and so we worked on that. They put a piece together that went live. The first piece of coverage went live the following day, and then I looked, and then there was a second piece, and then before we knew it, within about 3 days, there were 35 pieces of coverage from this one Daily Mail piece across the world. So it literally went viral and it went global, which was amazing for said client, and has done a lot. She even had royal experts commenting on her advice, which was just
serious.
Yeah, very serious. They went to Business Insider, went to royal experts to talk about her advice, which was just amazing. That was like the best feeling ever.
Oh, that's brilliant. I would love to ask you to give maybe one tip to the viewers about something they may be able to start with PR, or think about why they should hire a PR agent like yourselves. What are the rewards? If you could share maybe one thing that's a key reward of having a PR agent.
Right, okay, a key reward of having a PR agent. I think one of the most important things is, as a business owner, you can't do everything. And although there are benefits, I would be lying if I said I do my own PR sometimes, but even I'm going to hire someone to push my PR forward. So you can't do everything, because that time you're spending doing that, you should probably be doing something else in your business.
Stick to your strengths,
Yes.
hire in your weaknesses.
Yeah, definitely. Brilliant. That is tweetable. Tweet that, people.
Yeah.
Hire in your weaknesses. But not only that, I think what I've seen, and this is something that can be quite sad, is that people will often put themselves forward for something, and it won't, because they don't understand the nuances of PR and exactly how it works, and what is leverageable and what necessarily isn't, and won't necessarily put them in a good light. They will accept opportunities that come up that aren't necessarily, and I think as a publicist, it's only a professional that will know, actually, although this looks like a fantastic opportunity, you may have some damage limitation to deal with once you go live with this, you know, and that's, to me, that's probably one of the biggest reasons it's important to, because people always think PR is about getting yourself out there, but it's as much about reputation management and crisis management if something goes wrong as well. And I can honestly say I have seen examples of people on Facebook who have taken opportunities, been put out there, not necessarily understood how they were going to be portrayed in the media, and then you've got no coming back from that. If you've got no publicist on your, you know, sort of chasing that up, or chasing a journalist up to say, why did you write that, or, you know, can you correct that, you know, you're kind of stuck. And because you're just doing something that's not your strength, like you said, you may find yourself in a position where you end up, you know, not very happy with the coverage that you've got. And I've seen a few examples of people talking about that on Facebook.
That's such an excellent tip for the viewers to take into account. So guys, if you're tuned in, you're watching the Bella Networking Facebook show. I'm here every Monday. Do have a look at the invitation link below. I'm celebrating 10 years as a networking guru. I know, can you believe it? And I invite you to attend my celebration event on the 14th of March. And do share the link with some of your friends and colleagues too. So Brenda, if you were not in the industry of PR, what would you love to do as a job role or something as a hobby to turn into a job?
I think, oh God, there are actually a couple of things. So I've been told that I'm a very good teacher.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't think I could become a teacher in today's environment, though, to be fair. I think that'd be a bit difficult. But something that required me to teach people, or counselling. I'm told I'm a very good counsellor. I give very good advice.
Those two roles also indicate you're a good listener then.
Yes, I'm told I'm a brilliant listener.
Yeah, and that's good for PR actually.
Definitely,
Great.
You have to listen.
So before I end the show, Brenda, I always give my guest an opportunity to ask me a networking question. So over to you. Do you have a networking question to ask me?
Right, so my networking question for you would be, how would you advise people who are watching this now, if they want to actually extend their contacts and their reach and network in another country, where do they start with that? Right,
the first answer to that question is LinkedIn, because many of you know I expanded my business to New York, and LinkedIn is your best friend. Not only LinkedIn, you need to have a time map, and I would really recommend that you start looking at this within like 60 days, because it takes time to research. One of the important things you really have to understand when you're crossing the river or going to any other country for networking, you need to find out what their networking culture is all about. Now, America is a huge global country, just like London, but the way they network is completely different. And it's respecting business cultures. As we all know, you know, the Japanese have a culture for the business card, and that really can't be forgotten. It's really important. So you really need to, first of all, before even trying to grow a network, is find out what the culture's like. Now, there's ways around that as well, that when you do use LinkedIn and you're reaching out, in the early stage, try to find out what their preferences are. So try to ask open-ended questions. How do you want to do lunch? What's the best time for me to contact you? How long should I spend contacting you? So for example, with New York, the length of time of networking is actually 2 hours, as opposed to London, where we may network from 6 to 9, 4 hours. So the other thing as well, when you want to go global, there's a time element to it, and also a time zone. So you have to be very, very clear what's your positioning and what do you want out of that global country. Because if you're networking, it could just be to expand your network. It could be to learn industry expert about that industry in that country. Say, for example, fintech, or you might be a creative industry. It might be recommendations. And when I mean recommendations, you can build your global network faster by being very open in asking what you want. I would love to have you in my network, but can you also recommend me to other colleagues you know? Because that's going to double up your time. But the other thing as well that's really important that some people don't realize about doing global networking externally is you've got to get your house in order. Is your website up to date? Is your other social media up to date? Twitter, Facebook, and obviously is your LinkedIn page up to date? Are you indicating your company page well? Does it link to the website? Is your email address okay? Because the moment you start opening the doors, it's a bit like law of attraction, to expand globally, it actually happens very, very fast. So you want to be able to know when I ask for new connections and the connections come in, what's my next step and what's the step after that? And the last tip that I need to really highlight is the moment you start to go global, that's it forever, which means that you have to look for opportunities, how to maintain those relationships. So if you've had the one telephone call or the Skype call, it doesn't end there. You have to look for opportunities to keep in contact with that person. So those would be the few tips I'd give in a nutshell.
Fantastic tips. Don't you agree, people?
So guys, if you are watching the show, thank you so much for watching. I can see many of you have written a comment, so thank you so much for that.